Hello, welcome to a Q&A for another independent film from the San Francisco Independent Film Festival 2024. We are very fortunate to have the filmmakers from Stargazer here with us, Alan and Leigh. Hey, Alan and Leigh.
Mhm.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great,
Where are
excited.
you guys calling in from?
We're in New York. I'm in Westchester, teaching at Purchase College today. And
I'm
where are
in
you guys?
Astoria, Queens, in New York.
Right on.
Yeah.
Love New York. Well, welcome. Thanks for coming to San Francisco online. Uh, Wonderful, sweet little movie. How did it start? What was the inspiration?
Well, I got contacted by some of the actors and writers who had been working on Stargazer as a stage play. And then with COVID hitting, they sort of thought, oh, this theater's dead. We're done. So they decided to try to turn it into a movie instead.
Ah,
So they found me through another director. I'm both a cinematographer and a director. So a director I'd filmed a couple movies with uh, was a friend of theirs, and he didn't have time to do it. So they got me involved.
so this was written and produced, made during COVID, the pandemic?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We shot in 2021 in the summer.
Wow.
Um,
Did
yeah.
that
So
provide any challenges or did that provide any
no
unique?
challenges at all. Absolutely.
Right.
uh, we the first challenge was getting our third actor. So the main actor, Kate Gannay, she is a co-writer on the project with Rob Ackerman. And so the two of them had written it and were producing it um, with the second of the two actors of the triumvirate that kind of run it. That's Matt Bogart. So he's a classic Broadway performer. He originated one of the roles from the Four Seasons in what was that? The Something Boys. What's
Jersey
that play?
Boys.
Jersey Boys. So he's in Jersey Boys doing movies now. And so we had to find our third part of the main three actors. And so we did many castings, and Leigh just came through as the natural choice for this sort of dancer mystic character. Throws some sand in the wheels of the main character's plot.
Right, right on. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Lay, how was can I talk about the casting auditioning process a little bit? How was that for you?
Oh my gosh, it was so casual. I honestly didn't even realize I was auditioning. But like it was more of like because so Kate reached out to me. Kate and I we met in acting school. However, we had actually gone to the same college. We just never met each other beforehand. So small world. That was like all the way in DC, and then we met up in New York. And she texted me and she said, like, Lay, we're doing a reading of this film play that we wrote, and we're just doing a table read. I'm like, oh heck yeah, I would love to do a table read with you. Kate's super talented, and from school I loved getting to act with her, so I was like, yeah, let's do it. Had so much fun with the role. Diana's my character's name, and she's just really powerful, forceful, kind of just does what she wants, and there's
Yeah.
no rules for her, and that's a lot of fun practice to play. So I did that, thanked them for the experience, and then I got a text later on, and she's like, "Oh, Lay, you have a callback." And I said, "Oh, a callback! That's amazing! I'm so excited. I thought this was a table read." But no, it was such a blessing, and it really was so natural to get into character. The writing was already so clear. And again, your acting is only as good as your castmates are. Their acting, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
First off the
Oh,
bat.
and
And
it,
also this was on Zoom. This was a Zoom table
Oh,
read,
it
not
was
a
on Zoom. Yeah.
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's even tougher to like kind of get the timing right and everything.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. It's all new to us. It still kind of is new to us, but it was kind of strange, right? Like not
Yeah.
in person. But and then I think Lay's character fascinating to watch, fun to watch, but also a little strange, if you will, in a mysterious, appealing way, right? So how you interpreted how you became that character was wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we did a lot of workshopping. So the special thing about our rehearsal process is that before we even started shooting, we actually got to do a little actors workshop, sort of like a theater's workshop. Rob is a playwright also. And again, he co-wrote it with Kate. And so we all went up to his place in, where is it? Armonk?
Armand.
Armonk,
Yeah.
yes. Upstate New York. And we got to do a little theater workshop for like 2 weeks. Alan came on and got to work with us in groups with our specific scenes. So yeah, we had a pretty good idea of what we wanted out of all the characters. And as we did the workshop, Rob and Kate would sort of tailor the script to what we were discovering as
Mm-hmm.
days went on. So yeah.
And then Alan, since you were the director brought on to direct this the screenplay, how was it interpreting the script? Was it difficult, or did Alan and Rob give a lot of input?
Oh yeah, no, everyone, we had a very, cohesive process between all of us, and very respectful disagreements or agreements. And the main thing for me is I just wanted to make it a movie because it felt like a play when I first got it. It was good, but it felt like a play, like very talky, and it's still a very talky movie.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. You can sometimes tell, like when a theater adaptation, to into a movie, is still kind of
Yeah,
has a theatrical kind of staging, if you will.
exactly. So I wanted to add a lot of movement to it. We cut as many lines as we could.
Mm.
So it was great to have this basic month of prep before we shot, because we knew we had 10 days for principal photography. So the actors really had to have their lines down, and we had to really know our parts before we got
Well, then,
into it.
then you also, I mean, that brings it out of kind of the stage play ishness. Is you have a lot of the high scene, where they're on drugs, or in the different places in the library.
Mhm.
It has like a bigger universe on the movie than a stage play.
Yeah. Well, it started out when I first read it, it almost all took place in the one room of the library, or all in the library. So that was one of my main things, is I was like, let's get out of there at some point. So that brings us out onto the campus. They eventually end
Mhm.
up in a different, like a TV studio building. So I thought it was really important for the audience to feel the progress of the plot with the location changes.
Mhm.
So it starts out in this kind of normal world of like lights are all on, everybody's there studying. And as the plot develops, and as they tell each other stories and go more into these kind of fantasy sequences, we go into the stacks, into these darker parts, and as the night progresses, like lights are off. And
Mhm.
so it was fun. Like I wanted to have a visual progression as well as a spatial
Yeah,
progression, so the
yeah.
light
You
gets
Oh,
and all
was the
that.
staircase not there before?
No, the
Yeah,
staircase was written as
add it down.
we had this
Perfect.
staircase sequence where we added all these. It had this sort of brutalist, ugly staircase that we used for the stage play adaptation,
Yeah.
and
No,
and that was
it's
again,
very the world of the movie was very large. It didn't feel claustrophobic or tight or small or anything. It felt very expanded, which was appropriate for the theme, one of the themes of the movie, right? Do
absolutely.
you guys know anything about some of the themes of the movie, or Lay, do you want to talk about that? Based on historical kind of reference to this first professor at Harvard in
Okay,
astronomy.
yeah. Um,
Because it's nice that it's her stories on the screen.
yeah, Alan, please feel free to tag team on this because I will jumble up this history. um,
But not so much the history, just like that, to share, the women's struggle in a man's world. It's always good to see these stories be revealed to us because they've been
oh
hidden.
yeah, no, there we had a lot of feedback. I remember in I think one particular talkback, someone asked a question, said a comment of just really understanding um, the struggle of trying to fight that force of that gatekeeping process of like whose stories get told. And that's what really stuck with me of just, you know, how, again, what stories get told, who tells them, and who gets recognized for telling them was, I think, the biggest takeaway for me. And we're finding now in cinema that a lot of people are feeling more empowered to tell their stories from, different vantage points and point of views or times in history. And it's really exciting. We're opening up to a really, I guess, like diverse world of voices that we haven't really seen before. So
Yeah,
it was
indeed.
great that we were able to embody that with this film.
Indeed, Alan, you want to talk about it too? Like how
Yeah.
was there any difficulty for you in kind of directing this kind of female voice and these female viewpoints in the movie?
Well, not really. I mean, for me, I mean, someone else might say I shouldn't make the movie, but I mean, I was trained by these amazing women. Jill Godmiller was my film teacher at the University of Notre Dame. Some of my lighting mentors were very strong female DPs like Lisa Rinsler, Maurice Alberti. So for me, I've always been, maybe I'm a mama's boy, but I've always been like a, just very, I've had these very respectful and very deep relationships with a lot of women.
Alan is
And
like, sorry to cut you off, but Alan, like I've never said this to your face, but I felt completely safe. Like even if maybe things on your end, because I don't know what's happening on your end, like might have felt out of control, or like if there were any fires, as fires do appear on sets, like I didn't really feel that. I just sort of felt like Alan let the story be the story. He let us do our work. And as far as I'm concerned, and of course I'm sure there were issues, but like I just felt like what I needed to be done was not obstructed at all. Like I just felt like the story was able to play out.
Well, I appreciate that input, Lay, because yeah, I mean, your character is very, expressive and free, and not only that, then she's a dancer, if you will. And so I don't know, does Alan know how to coach or direct dancing and the female kind of expression, right?
Yeah, I mean, Alan, do you know how to dance? Do you dance?
I definitely don't dance, but I know when to say action and cut.
Yeah, there's a lot of trust though, and like, yeah, no, I
Well,
really
we
did.
had such a great our Robert, the choreographer,
Oh yeah.
was so fantastic, right? I mean, he worked with you
Yeah,
and
Robert Vale, he also went to acting school with Kate and me, and he is now like a really big time choreographer now.
he's
He
been
just got
coming up
signed to
quite a bit.
Block. Yeah, no, he's doing very
So
well
it's
for
like you got to like,
yeah.
yeah, sorry. You've got to like just hire the right people. If you don't know how to do something as a director or producer, I think you just have to hire the right people, right? That's my attitude. I've
True.
done a
Yeah.
lot of different jobs on set over the years, and I know a lot of how to make a movie, but I know I don't know certain things. So we had amazing makeup department. Chelsea
Yeah.
did incredible makeup through these different costume parts, as well as just the day-to-day makeup. Nell was
Hell
our
yeah.
costume designer. She did a fantastic job. So like,
Well, well, then,
yeah,
like, absolutely so true. You got to hire, you got to hire a good team around you. But let's stick to the casting too, because the acting's really excellent on this. I really enjoyed the
mhm.
acting. Very natural, very engaging, very fun to watch. How was the chemistry between the three?
Oh, it's
I
so
mean,
good.
and then what was like your directing approach, Alan? But Lay too, like, was the chemistry? How was it?
Well, for I can speak to the chemistry. It was very natural. Again, we had those weeks before we started shooting where we just got to know each other, explore different choices. We were essentially just playing house the whole time. Even like that scene where I hide in that library thing. What is it? That book cart.
Book, yeah.
In Rob's house, it was the closet or under like a bench. It was just a lot of fun. And so we were able to do a lot of icebreaker type acting things through those exercises of just
Huh.
going through it and picking apart different bits and reworking them together. So we were able to build a lot of trust amongst the team of actors.
Right.
Chemistry was just like we knew exactly what we had to do, and we knew the script so well. Like we rehearsed it so much. We were able to pick up wherever Alan wanted us to, whatever.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, so because we were able to do
Lay,
that,
do you like extensive rehearsal, or do sometimes is
yeah.
it too much rehearsal, or yeah? Okay.
I mean, there is definitely such a thing as rehearsing too much, but I think that's up to the actor. You just have to sort of know your own instrument. But I love rehearsing, especially rehearsing with people,
Yeah.
because you know you can always rehearse your lines or do whatever. But to get into your body with the people who you're going to actually do it on camera with or on stage with, whatever it is, that's invaluable. That's irreplaceable. You
I mean,
just
you guys, in my opinion, you guys are so natural together.
thank you.
Yeah. I mean, did it
They're
feel that
so
way?
much fun.
Were you guys just like, able
mess
to just jump
around.
right in with each other?
Yeah, no, it was, again, it was all fun. Like we were able to just hold space for each other. And then when the moment needed, if it was a very dramatic scene, we would make space for that. And then, Kate or me or Matt would be able to jump right in. And then for the more playful scenes, we knew what was going on there and we were able to just keep up that energy so that we were all ready to dive in when we needed to.
And Alan, as you just stood back and watched and said, "Action and cut."
No, I was a little intimidated at first because I wasn't sure where my place was when we first started rehearsing, because Rob, who had written it with Kate, he was, he's a very strong personality. We were just getting to know each other. So the last thing I wanted to do was walk in on someone's script and just start tearing things out or whatever. I'm not that kind of director.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more like I listened and I just kind of waited and bided my time. And there was this one time where about 2 or 3 days in where I was just really, honestly, I was just trying to get myself up to speed. I didn't want to start making big decisions before I even really felt comfortable with the material. So as we were rehearsing, I just picked up a camera that I'd brought and I just started saying, all right, now let's do it for camera. And that's kind of how I got myself into the process. And by that time we had been kind of rewriting and taking out things that didn't work. And then, I'm most of my credits are as a cinematographer. So that's my comfort zone. So that's what I quickly realized is, all right, if I'm going to feel comfortable here, this is my first feature as a director. I've made shorts, I made music videos, but my comfort zone is with a camera in my hand. So
Right.
that was my approach.
Yeah. Well done. Good job. So how did you guys feel after you saw the completed film? Alan, I'll start with you. How do you feel after watching the movie?
It feels really good to watch with the crowd, I've got to say, because I spent a good year with, editing on my own or maybe getting feedback, certainly from the producers and other people. But to see it with an audience is really fantastic. We've had some really good, close to sold out, if not sold out shows over this last year of our run for our festival. So I'm, just, it feels so satisfying when I think something's going to be funny, but you don't know until you actually hear people laughing. Like there's a lot of weird off-putting humor in the movie. There's a few inappropriate things, like just things that these days everybody gets so upset about all sorts of things. So like, I'm not like a button pusher. I'm not interested in being a bad boy and making people angry. But it's like, there's so much to laugh at in the world. Like, I just think it's important to not, to find the humor in things,
Well, and then with your approach too, or the script's approach, it's like, I learned about another famous person, another person that's important in the world, and it's interesting, I like getting information or education too out of entertainment as well.
Absolutely. Well,
Leigh,
yeah.
how do you feel about the finished movie?
Oh, so we were getting so many different versions. Like it wasn't, colored or sound mastered or whatever. And then afterwards, wow, it just blossomed. I mean, it was great before, like we knew all the bits, but it was sort of like seeing a skeleton without its skin on, But after seeing it, it was so beautiful and it grew so nicely, especially because we've seen the script through different versions. It was really nice to see how it also transformed in editing, in post. And again, what Alan said, seeing it with a crowd, because like what went on during production, and it's nice to see how people are translating it and responding to it. So that was great. Different crowds too. They laugh at different things, which is also interesting to watch.
Yeah, see it on the big screen in front of an audience is quite the experience, the thrill.
Oh yeah.
What's a moment, Leigh, since I'm on you still, a challenging moment you had making the movie? What was any memorable moments or challenging moments you may have had?
Oh my gosh, the rain scene.
Uh,
The rain was so hard for so many reasons. I so it was not supposed okay, back up. There's a scene that we're continuing the fantasy, so we move from the library into the woods, the forest. And it wasn't written in the script that it's raining, but of course the universe was like, let's have rain. and and we all kind of went with it, which was the beautiful thing. The entire team was just like, yeah, let's go. Like all this expensive equipment just out there, makeup, hair, costume, all of it. And that was challenging. That was challenging. It was cold. Um, Matt wasn't wearing any clothes. I I have this texture thing. Oh my God, I was freaking out. But yeah, I have some like weird phobias that I definitely had to face in the ring. And
But you
then
come
right
across
after,
you come across very comfortable, and natural. Can't tell. Alan, how about you? I mean, you're the director of the movie. The whole freaking thing is challenging. Making movies are
Yeah, yeah.
challenging. What was
Well,
a
our biggest disaster was day one, which was that we were all set to shoot the movie in order, start with scene one and go from there.
really? You're going to shoot in order?
We were
Wow.
going to, and then, or at least as much as possible. And then what happened was this library location we had to install new shelves that was going to be very loud installation process with drills. So all of a sudden, like this is like 2 or 3 days before.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so we have to use our rain location, which is our TV studio, which is the last 20 minutes of the movie, as day one. And now this is where the actors have to build up to the big finale,
Yeah.
and it's all these big things are revealed, and it was really difficult. But this is where all our month of prep, our month of rehearsals came in, because they were just ready to go. And we shot 20 pages day one of the movie. I had my Steadicam op, like going around moving with them and everything. But that was such a big challenge to all of a sudden turn and just have everyone be ready. But I think it gave this kind of like semi-frantic nature to the end of the film, which is really perfect, because
Yeah.
everyone was kind of like,
Yeah.
had their sea legs taken out in a sense.
Right. They're amped up. Do you guys have any favorite moments from the movie? Like, Alan, since like
Yeah,
you see it on the page and then you realize it, or you like this moment where
yeah.
you're amped up and you get something you didn't expect, and like, oh, I appreciate that. Is there a favorite kind of achievement moment from the movie?
I think what I'm really happiest with is how we synthesize the real world with the fantasies,
Mm,
especially when Lay, as Diana, is telling her story. She tells the story of Atalanta in the Greek mythology tradition. And I really wanted the audience at this point, this is act two. So I want the audience to really be flowing with the characters, with the storytelling. So I have a lot of repeated gestures, a little bit inspired by Maya Deren and her kind of philosophies of how you can move through space and time using the camera. Motor driven metaphysics is what she called it. But
yeah.
I really am proud of that sequence in particular where Diana goes from, here we are in Greece, and then we flip to her in the outside in the rain,
Right.
and just the way that story intercuts, I think, really works perfectly. They had
Yeah.
written it back and forth, like scene to scene, like these parts of the dialogue are told here in the library, these parts of the scene are shot here in the woods. And I was like, absolutely not. I want to shoot everything at both places. And my assistant director was like, no way, we don't have time for that. And I said, nope, I think we can. And I found that I just didn't say cut. And so the
Huh.
actors knew their lines so well, like I lost track of what scene we were actually shooting. And they just shot just went
Wow.
through the whole thing. And the AD, who's a good friend of mine, the AD comes around the corner. He's like, I see what you did. And I was like, oh, now I can edit it. I knew I needed the edit points,
Yeah.
and I couldn't be like stuck in, oh, we have to be in the woods here. We have to be
Well,
in the
yeah. I mean,
library.
you can also tell back to your comment about hiring a good crew around you, hiring a good team around you. You can see how you're able to make such a good movie, because you had a good team around you. Having an
Absolutely.
AD that's a friend, you have a rapport that's a shorthand, so
Yeah.
you can, not butt heads,
Yeah.
but
I've shot
have,
4 features for him. I shot, so we've worked together. He's a director as well, and
yeah,
primarily a director, but he also teaches at this university, at Rider University, where we shot.
yeah,
And so we were able to use that whole film department there. We had just done a training film with several of the students, the senior class. So we hired a lot of them as their first kind of feature out of
oh,
school,
great,
as
great
like the
experience for the
supporting
students.
crew. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the actors in there, I had just directed in a short that we shot there with the crew, with the film program. So,
And then also, I just want to comment and compliment on the editing too. Did you edit this yourself?
yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
well, well edited. It's really
Thank
tight.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. No,
It-
I just knew I just had it in my head and I didn't. Two things. One, I've worked on so many movies where, you know, like I was like, why is it the edits suck? And they're like, oh, well, we only had 6 weeks with the editor. So I was like, no way am I doing that. You know, like I
right,
knew we couldn't afford an editor. I cut this for a year because my time is, you know, like I'm only dedicated to the project. No one else,
right,
I couldn't ask someone else to be that dedicated.
right.
But it was on and off. You know, I teach, I shoot movies, I do other things. So it was like I got to work for a week, go do something else, you know, come back to it a
Yeah.
week later. Like it was really a good process.
Right, right. Well, also though, because the challenge of being the director, editor, or filmmaker editor is you can get in your way where you're like, in love with the footage. Let's say, did that ever create a
Oh yeah,
problem where it's like I can't get rid of this, or I had to get second eyes on it?
brutal. I was brutal. I just think my thing is I didn't want to be the cinematographer that directs his first movie and it's all about one pretty shot or something.
Yeah,
I was like coverage above all. I knew even with all our cuts, there was still too much dialogue. So I cut about 20 minutes out of the movie in addition to the 20 pages we cut out before we even shot.
yeah,
So I just was like, I've been in that on a short I made previously where I was like, I painted myself into a hole without, like I got
yeah.
some really nice shots and then it didn't work in the edit. So I just
Well,
was like, yeah,
yeah, it's evident. Well done. Good discipline.
thank you.
You see a lot of movies where the cinematographer's in love with their footage, and the director, and they're multi hyphened,
Yeah.
crew member, and it doesn't serve the story, but you can tell you were story first.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
just, I felt such a obligation, not only to the writers, cause there's so many writer directors out there that get to do whatever they want, but I really felt like I needed to honor and, be a good service member to those, but also the investors, the people that put their money, behind us. I just felt so indebted to them that like here I was getting to make a feature. I didn't go into credit card debt. I didn't have to beg, borrow, and steal. Like I felt like that was such a privilege for me.
Yeah.
Like so many you hear all those indie horror stories of,
Oh
just
yeah. Yeah.
so I just really felt like I need to make this for the investors as well. That
Yeah.
was my main
Yeah.
thing. Just give them any shot to
Right.
honor them as well.
Oh, well done. So one or two more questions, Lay. What's something you came away with watching or making this movie? Like, is there something as an actor once you complete a project that you learn about yourself or you grow
Yeah.
from?
I mean, you
Or you make
always,
new friends, you make new family. I mean, what's something maybe you came away with?
well, all of the above, Jace, all of the
Yeah,
above.
yeah,
No,
good.
I have a lot of friends, even like I made so many friends, I mean, I'll always be in contact with Alan, Rob, Kate, Matt. Like they're just, they taught me so much. It was my first feature that I've ever,
Oh,
I,
really?
yeah, that I got to actually just like do that big of a role. Yeah.
Well, what have you done before? Like you do mostly sports or theater or dance? What are you doing?
Yeah, shorts, commercial, a little bit of theater. Yes. But this was just, I mean, I think the difference between this set versus any other set that I've been in is that I really did feel like I had a lot of responsibility because I got to work so closely with the higher ups. I got to really work very closely and work in their homes, and I really felt like I was a part of the team. Like when I said that Rob and Kate were tailoring the script, and I know that does happen, but it was my first time really feeling comfortable voicing like, yes, I feel very strongly about this choice and it should be in there. And they were like, yeah, of course it's going to be in there.
And what about the process, the length of a feature? Was that new for you? Is that grueling or anything?
Well, no, it was. Oh my God, I love being on set. You ask any actor, we love being on set. Um,
Yeah.
but it wasn't long. Especially there are some takes, Alan, right, where it was like 7, 8 minute takes, something like that. we knew our
Mhm.
lines, so it wasn't grueling. It was just like, you're going, you're just on
Right.
the thing and you're going and you're just playing. So it was, but no, I did learn a lot. Rehearsal. I love rehearsal. Love it. And yeah, good team, good people.
Good. And did you gain a little bit more? Not that you were lacking in confidence, but did you gain a little bit more confidence or experience, or you know?
Heck yeah, I did. Are you kidding? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah,
always.
your performance is wonderful. You're very
Thank you.
the acting here is very good. So well done.
I appreciate it. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
but it's all because Alan directed you
It was.
perfectly.
Yeah.
How about you, Alan? Are you more a better filmmaker now after this project?
I would say I now think of myself as a filmmaker.
Ah,
That's the big takeaway I took. Was
wow.
before I was a DP who occasionally directed, and so this was a real not only treat for me, but also a real change of a sea change in my thinking about myself. Because I've it's now been 2.5 years on this project, and I've done other projects since as well. But and I'm still DPing and stuff too for money, but it's like and I'm teaching as well. But I think when you make a feature, you can make shorts and you learn on every project, no matter what.
Yeah, true.
I really feel like to have such a long-term project, and it really was so scary just at those first steps of like, oh my God, all these people are believing in me. Like I can't, it's hard to imagine in a sense, like all these people put money into this project. All
Right,
these
right.
people are, to have not self-generated it, to have
Yeah, right, right,
stepped into it. And certainly I earned it, but I did feel those initial, like not necessarily imposter syndrome, but a little bit of that.
right.
Oh,
Sure, sure. We all
only they
struggle with
knew.
that. Well, we believed in you and the film Stargazer here at SF Indie Fest. So that's all the time we have. But well done, you two, and to all your cast and crew. Good movie.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for making it, and congratulations on not
Thank
only
you. We're excited to
making it, but getting into several film festivals.
I
absolutely.
appreciate it
All
so
right,
much.
guys. Good to meet you. I hope to meet you in person someday. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching another Q&A. Support more indie film at sfindie.com. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye, Jason.
Bye-bye.